Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Micheal Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. I'm giggling because behind the scenes, I have this incredible person that is helping me, my dear friend and executive fellow, Leon, and we're learning all these new things. And Felicia had a meeting with him yesterday to help me to understand this new system that we're using, but we're getting there. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here again this morning, Friday morning on Life is a Sacred Journey. I hope your week was great. Please hit the share button. Remember to subscribe on YouTube and any place that you can. It really helps us to monitorize our program, and it helps that funding comes to ASAP. So please, please, please do that as soon as you can. And I want to just shout out, it is now 6 p.m. in Moldova. And Felicia was traveling, I guess it was Thursday and Wednesday, Thursday, 30 hours to get home to Moldova to visit with her family and all of that. So I want to say to all of you on Facebook Live, why don't you just say good morning, say a shout out to Moldova, and thank you for the beautiful woman that walks with me in this journey. This Life is a Sacred Journey. She is our content manager, as well as helps us to produce Life is a Sacred Journey. And it would not be where it is without her ideas, her enthusiasm, her love for creativity, and most importantly, her love for me. So Felicia, I'm so happy you made it home safe to your family, your mama and your papa, and please give them a big hug for me. And one day I will come to Moldova and visit my Moldovan family. I love you, and I'm glad that you are all well there. So shout out Facebook family, put it in the chat, say good evening to our friends in Moldova. And I'm so happy always to be with you. And I've been pondering so much. I'm biting at the bit. Unfortunately, I've been up since 3 a.m. this morning. For some reason, I couldn't sleep after that, but it's all good. So I was in, where was I? Staples. I went to Staples the other day for everything that you go to Staples for. And I'm a shopper. I love to touch things. That's why ordering stuff online is not great for me, because I'm very tactile. But what I found, oh my goodness, look at this. Crayola crayon. Oops, I lost my elbow there. This way, here we go. Crayola crayons now have colors of the world. Brand spanking new. Let's open it, because I didn't open it yet. I wanted to open it with you. I'm gonna pour it out here. Let's see what we have. Oh, wow. Okay, go ahead, Crayola crayons. So they have all these beautiful hues of color for children to use so they can draw pictures of people and coloring books to make people that look like them. Look at that. I'm not done. Hold on, let me get my hand full so you can see. All right, hold on. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? These are all the colors of humanity. And I'm sure there's some missing because, because you can't get it all. But this is so much better. When I was a little person, every time I wanted to draw a Caucasian person, I had to use an orange crayon. Then by the time the kids got older, there was a flesh color, but you know what, that's not the right color. And then, they were like, oh, use white. Well, but you know what? White is a color, but there's no such thing as white people. So, because Caucasian people are not white, all right? This is white. I don't know nobody. Well, I know people that are close to that, but they're still not white because they have some pigmentation in their skin. Okay, so we gotta look at what we did for the children. Thank you, Crayola Crayon, and along with it, they created a coloring book because I bought them both. Colors of the World, Coloring and Activity, and they have all the people all over the world, all the different colors and everything. Now, they could have done better, again, and making the children more ethnic other than their color. But at the end of the day, we're getting there, you know, so I'm not mad at you, Crayola Crayon. I am mad at you that it took you so long, but at the end of the day, I'm not mad at you. Thank you for doing this. Keep up the good work. Now you need to get to the coloring book and not just make ethnicity a color. There are characteristics, beautiful facial characteristics that make each ethnicity, and let's do that. I will say one of the things that they also did in this coloring book is they lifted up children who are living with wheelchairs and different things. I hate the word disability. I don't use it because I don't think that a person that is in a wheelchair or something like that is actually disabled. That's a very negative word. I got to drop my crayons. Okay, so somebody out there in my life, one of my little babies, you'll be getting this because I'm not going to keep this. So I'm going to put it all back together. I think I might send it to Belgium to my little Katherine. She can't, I don't know if she can use crayons yet, but one day she will. And this will be there from her auntie, Micheal. So anyway, expect that in the mail, Leave. Expect that. I will send that to your mommy, and then mommy and daddy will make sure you get that. Okay, I actually said that wrong. My goddaughter's name is Leave. Her mother's name is Katherine. So I'm going to send it to her mother to give to her. Okay. Again, been up since 3. Hang in there with me. Another thing I want to share with you this morning is I got a beautiful, beautiful card in the mail yesterday from my sister Sandy, and I want to read it to you. Not the inside, because that's between she and I, but what the card said on the outside struck me so much that I think that I thought, oh, you know what? I want to share this. So I'm going to read it to you. Dream as though you have nothing to lose. I like that. I'm kind of getting to that in my life where I just thought about it before this card came. You know, I see this, that I'm beginning to be more connected to the universe and to the world. So I got home last night and here this card was, but all the way home I was thinking, Micheal, at 64 years old, you have to live your life as if there is nothing else. And you have to dream bigger and allow yourself to go into spaces that you've never gone before. And so dream as though you have nothing to lose, because you don't have anything to lose. Not even your life. Your life is not a loss when you move on and when you pass away. It's only a loss if you didn't live it to your fullest and that you didn't love anybody and nobody loved you, then it's a loss. But when you've lived your life where you love people and you've grown and you move constantly into this bigger space of humanity and seeing people as they are and not as stereotypes and all this gobbledygook. And we're going to talk about that a bit because I had an experience this week I want to share with you. But dream as though you have nothing to lose. Life is a sacred journey, followers, and pass it on. Pass it on. Dream as though you have nothing to lose. Believe as though anything is possible. I've always lived that because I know anything is possible. Many of you have only known me in the last 24 years I've either been here at ASEB or the last 35 years that I've been in the state of California. But there was a whole life that Micheal Pope lived prior to that. Some of it wasn't good. Some of it was life-threatening. Some of it was detrimental to my soul. But it was because I had learned to see myself through the lens of a world that didn't understand me, that hated me, and I didn't understand why. Growing up in the 50s and 60s, beginning with segregation and then no segregation and then no Crayola crayons and no dolls that looked like me, I learned to hate the very thing that has made me feel wonderful in my grown-up years. I hated my nose, I hated my hair, I hated everything. I was too dark, and only the light-skinned girls got the boys in high school, and and then I had eczema, and my skin was so, because I was so upset and so emotional that my skin, I looked like a snake, and people made fun of me. So I hated myself. And I couldn't believe that there would be another day that I would ever look at myself in the mirror and say, wow, you're pretty darn cute. But I'm here. And it's because you have to believe as though anything is possible. That anything that you want to be, no matter how old you are, no matter what people say about you, no matter what the world tells you you are, you have to believe that anything is possible. So that is wonderful. And it's love as though you know your heart knows no bound. Love as though your heart knows no bounds. So that means giving love radically, giving love even sometimes when it hurts, giving love and not letting go even when people hurt you, and that you don't turn away from love and become a person that doesn't know how to love anymore, or that you're vengeful and you want to go at people and all you do is hear the negative in everything that people say, and then you spew out, I actually call it vomit out, the worst decaying words of the soul that you can possibly find when you don't know love. And a lot of us are dancing through love because we think we understand love. But I have learned in my lifetime from the people that really, truly love me, that love is unconditional. Love accepts you and doesn't use your faults to sneak around the corner, then to stab you in the back because you made a mistake. In love. Love, man. Love as though your heart knows no bounds. That heart is an amazing thing. It can hold anger, it can hold hatred, but it grows when it holds love. And don't get it twisted. Many of us are living in a false reality of love, where we think love is because somebody does what we want them to do, behaves the way we want them to behave. But love, as though your heart knows no bounds, is the opposite of that. The last thing on this card, live as though there is only today. This card, there we go. Oh, this way, Shell. Okay, I'm gonna frame it so you'll see it soon. Right over here on this is my inspiration sort of tabernacle, my place for when I'm at work here. Thank you, Sandy. This is an amazing card, not only for the words that you wrote to me as a friend on the inside, but also for the very motivating comments on the outside. So I pondered this card. Maybe that's what got me up at 3 a.m. this morning, but that is amazing. And so I love those ponderings. And thank you for the Starbucks card. I will use it. I also want to make a shout out to Mary Jackson, who was NASA's first female Black engineer. April 9th, 2021 was her 100th birthday. And then we also want to shout out to Katherine Johnson and Dorothy Vaughan. Those are the characters in this book called Hidden Figures. You all have watched the movie. I've read the book and then now have done some research on these three women. These three women are incredible women who fought the odds, who taught us that, yes, Black people, you shouldn't be afraid of math. These women walked in dignity and respect and went into an environment that was hostile and went in it with pride and dignity and held their heads up, knowing what they knew, holding what they knew about themselves and honoring who they were with dignity and respect. And so I want to say to all you young women out there, because you are our future. Everything that you are, your womb, your everything, your goddessship, your goddesshood, is to build a world that the next generation of women will not have to suffer. These women went through a lot for me and for you. And so start thinking about that. Start thinking about what it means to be a part of a legacy of womanhood, and not just about what pleases you and what makes you happy for the moment. Think bigger than that. The media has made you think that your mind is only this big, and your mind is vast as the universe. Start thinking bigger. You don't even have the same pitfalls. You don't have to walk across the courtyard to go to the bathroom. Okay? Yeah, you got some stuff going on. We got some stuff going on. But at the end of the day, they broke down some barriers for you. And so understand that you're standing on the shoulders of mighty, glorious women. And you know what? Let's do better. Together, let's do better. So thank you, Mary Jackson. Thank you, Katherine Johnson. And thank you, Dorothy Vaughan, for doing what you did. And as the young people say, doing the damn thing that needed to be done in order to ensure that women like myself can even be sitting at this desk, at this platform, at this time, with the stupid initial CEO next to my name. And it's because of you and my mother and my grandmother and all the people that have come before us. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, mothers. Thank you, goddesses, for putting up what you had to put up with and all the tears that you cried in order for us to get to this place in time. So thank you so much. The rest of my time with you this morning, I want to reflect with you on what it means to build relationships and to heal communities in this day and age. I am a part of way too many committees and groups and all kinds of things. I really am. I'm giving some of them up and I'm saying no to a lot of things. But because of that, I'm also around a lot of individuals. We have platforms that we stand for, that we advocate for. But we get to the point where nobody else can have an opinion that is different from ours. And I've been in a variety of circumstances in the last 8 days where I have watched people just use the worst language around another individual because they disagreed with them, because they didn't like what they said, because their opinion was not their opinion, and then just went in on the character of the individual because the person doesn't stand for what they stand for. And I kept thinking about that, pondering, like, Micheal, have you done that? And the answer is yes, I have done that. And then I had to ponder it again from, okay, Micheal, has it been done to you? Yes, it's been done to me. What are the emotions and feelings around either doing it or having it done to? And I examined both of those. When you do it too, it's a power position. You're executing your power or your so-called perceived power of yourself as an individual in that relationship or in that space. And then you just, Or if it's done to you, sometimes you don't even know, because a lot of times it's being done behind your back, particularly in this day and age. People just love talking about people behind their back. They don't have the courage to pick up the phone and say, you know what? I'm mad at you. I don't understand you. Yeah. And to the point where other people get frightened to join the conversation because it's like, I better not say nothing, because what if I disagree with that person? They might go in on me. And I don't want to be attacked. I don't want to be the other. I want to be a part of the group. I want to be accepted. But then it's hard to be accepted, to be an ally, an advocate, or an accomplice for the good of anything that that person might have said, because now you're afraid. I don't get that. And again, I examine myself. All this is about, I've been there. I've been that person. But after these last 8 days, I will never be that person again, because it's demoralizing. And then the way it comes out, and the way it's like taking a piece of gum that's nice and juicy, bubble gum, and taking it out of your mouth like they did in the movie Car Wash and flinging it to the ceiling, and then it just drops on people. Actually, it was butter, pats of butter. And the person doesn't even know it's happening. They're just like, oh my God, what's happening? What's happening? Only because they disagree, only because they have a difference of opinion. And what's even worse is when the person that's putting the other person down is actually demonstrating the behavior of the person that they're putting down, and they don't even know it. It's like, mirror, mirror on the wall. I don't get that. Again, been there. So I'm trying to examine as a humanity what makes us do that. And I thought about it the other day, actually Wednesday night, around 1 a.m. in the morning. I woke up and I thought about this. And it was, when you say you love yourself, you have to truly love yourself in order to love somebody else. I don't mean this egotistical love that we've taught, unfortunately, you poor millennials and down. We taught you egotistical love. We didn't teach you the true love that seeds abundance in other people. Some of us did, and some of us didn't. But the kind of language that we use, like I was looking at the word mood, and then I flipped it, and mood or flipped is doom. So that means, oh, I'm in a mood. That means you bring doom if it's a bad mood. I don't know. Again, these are ponderings, so they're all over the place. But what it focuses in on is how we build relationships and heal communities. And how can we build relationship and heal communities if we're not healed ourselves? I have a checklist that I just made, and I'll be sharing that checklist with you. I wasn't ready today, but I'll be sharing it with you. I actually sat down and made a list of all the things that I do not want to take to the grave that are a part of my soul. It's not a long list, but it's an abundant list that I'm going to make an effort. I mean, like it matters, like it's a life or death effort, to not take any of the negativity that humanity has taught me to the grave. Because I've learned it from the world. We've learned it from the world. We've learned it from each other. It's just like that commercial back in the day when I was growing up, and when we had the war on drugs, which is a whole nother topic. But at the end of the day, they had all these commercials, and one of the commercials, little Bobby or Billy or whatever, was in his parents' bedroom, and he was smoking a joint, and the father comes in and says, Bobby, Billy, Joe, whatever, where did you learn how to do that? And then in a hysterical teenage voice, he goes, from you, Dad, from you. Okay. We learn from each other on how to treat each other. So I came out of my family learning to treat everybody with respect, with love, with dignity. to never talk about people, to never judge people, because who are you to judge anybody? Look at your own life before you judge others. So I came out into the world in that space. Totally in that space, because we got spanked when we talked about other people, literally. Okay, so I'm gonna tell it like it is. We didn't have a choice. If we were undignified about anybody, or we thought we turned our nose up, we were definitely going to hear about it from our parents. So when we don't go up, show up, and present ourselves in a healing way, we are not building relationships, and we're creating communities that prey upon each other until somebody rises to the top. Somebody's in the power position. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound like the world that we're living in? To me, it does. It feels that way sometimes. But then we have these glorious moments like Life is a Sacred Journey. And all of you that come back every single Friday morning, 8 a.m., welcome if you're joining us for the first time, where we ponder stuff, and people who write incredible books about love and reaching out into the world and helping caregivers. You have Carol and Brent who says self-care, take care of your mind, body, and spirit. You have Jason Matthew who says, okay, take care of your mind, body, and spirit so you can live longer, but wait a minute, let's make sure you have the financial fortitude so that you can do that and do some of the things you want, even if you still have to work. But let's have a plan. You have people like my brother Rob, who wrote and talked about plan. Don't sit there and don't have a plan, and plan your week on Sunday. Take 15 minutes, half hour, plan your week on Sunday evening, and you'll have a better week because you'll have things set up that you plan for. So therefore, if something else happens, you can make space for it. All these wonderful writers, Lynn Harper, who came and talked about dementia is just another thing. It's another place that people are living. And yes, we of course want to cure, but we're not here to fix people. We're here to meet them where they are. Lynn Castile Harper, good friend. All these incredible human beings who take time out of their personal lives to sit down, to ponder life, to ponder Roz Jones, ponder something, write it, create a platform like this, because they just want to see a change in the world. A friend of mine said last night that we may not see any change in our lifetime. She and I are around the same age. And I agreed with her. But then I cried about that last night because I thought, oh my God, Micheal. So that means you're going to die and people are still going to hate each other because of the color of their skin? That you're going to die and people are going to still be all caught up in somebody else's sexuality? And how, you're going to die and people are still going to be going at each other. They're still going to be. And the answer is yes, Micheal. No matter how much you grieve, no matter how much you do, you are only one person. And unless the world changes collectively, every generation is going to get another piece of this rotten apple until we decide that the rotten apple needs to be replanted and we're going to start afresh and anew with new eyes and new ways of being with each other on the planet. We can't keep separating ourselves. You know the reason we have all these different ways to describe ourselves and to give ourselves a positioning in the humanity is because we haven't been honored. We've been, So if you're gay, you get beat up. So you know what? Then you got to go out and invent pronouns, and you got to go out and invent all kinds of stuff because you're trying to get a space, a recognition that you belong. somewhere. All this baby boomer, millennial, XYZ, humanity. Because then we can talk about us. You know, the baby boomers and the millennials and the XYZs with they blip, blip, blip. No, they're human beings going through the same period of life that I know that I went through. In my 20s, the older people didn't say nothing that I liked, except for maybe 3 or 4, because they were my mentors, because they came to me, sat with me, talked to me, asked me, as Jade said yesterday, we got to stop asking them all these questions about their future when they just started their future. How the heck are they going to know what the answer is? I love what you wrote on Facebook, Jade, when you said, I have a job that I love. I'm just going to do me for a minute. I don't know what the heck. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for teaching me, my dear, dear daughter, that your life is not my dream. It is your dream. And my job was to give you a platform so that you could fly like the old fable, African fable of Black people who could fly. And they weren't talking always about literal flight, even though the fable says yes. They're also talking about flight of the mind. Flight of the mind. I'm still crying here. I don't know why. I apologize. It's just coming out. Flight of the mind. Take your mind away from all of this drama that is being spewed out, vomited out to make you sit and think about stuff that doesn't fruit the earth and it doesn't fruit you. I got to do that too. We all got to do that. Because we're not building relationships with each other. All we're doing is figuring out a way to hate each other, figuring out a way to debate with each other in a way where conversation cannot be had, because now I'm afraid. We have more guns being purchased again in the United States than any other place in the world right now, because we're afraid of each other. And rather than to get in a room and work through our fear, we just said, forget it. I'm going to go get a gun so that if you make me feel really fearful and I'm in your space, I'm just going to shoot you. That's easy, people. Let's take the hard road out of this incredible stupidity, this Armageddon of life. Let's take the hard road out. The hard road is sitting down with your enemy, the art of war, and talking to your enemy and appearing smaller and weaker than you really are, so that you can hear their voice, hear their words, and discern them in silence. One of my favorite scenes, my son wrote a paper once, is in The Godfather. And one of the sons is with the other mafia families and he's angry. That's James Caan in his youth. And I love that movie. I loved him in that movie. And he's spouting off and he's mad and he's telling all his family secrets. And the meeting gets over and Marlon Brando, in one of the most magnificent Marlon Brando acting moments, gets up and slaps the heck out of him. Martin Scorsese, I think, is the director. Spans the camera. You can tell I'm a film buff. Spans the camera, and you look up and you hear Marlon Brando say, "Never tell your enemy what's on your mind." That is amazing. It's an amazing moment. Because when somebody is being adversarial with you, or adversarial in word, tone, deed, when you come up to them point to point, they figured you out. But when you lay in the cut, and this is not a vengeful, I'm not talking about to get revenge, not at all. But to discern whether it's worth the energy of coming out with your dupes. Because most of the time, it's not. Freedom means you get to do what you want to do. So does it really matter what anybody else says? Oh no, I'm asking. Does it matter that somebody else is living their life the way that you feel they shouldn't? You're going to waste that one day you might have worrying about that? Or you're going to do what you can do. And that means go out and love. Go out and be connectional with people. Go out and listen to people. Go out and have a conversation that does not lead to you trying to convince them that they are wrong and you are right. Because what if we're all right? The philosophers say we are all right. Because there's a dark side, the yin and the yang of everything. Just like some of us faith-based people that talk about other people's practices. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. Learn from some of that. If I had to tell somebody the other day, I don't care how somebody practices their faith. I know my faith, and there is nothing that anybody can tell me because I'm solid as a rock on it, baby. There's nothing that anybody can tell me, but I learn from other people. I have Jewish friends that have taught me so much. Thank you, my Jewish brothers and sisters. I've learned from the Muslim. I've learned from the Buddhists. I've learned from the Universalists. I've learned from the Baptists. I've learned from the Catholics. I've learned. Don't you want to live your life learning instead of being in this space where you're just constantly trying to figure out why somebody's right or why somebody's wrong? And what if we all have a little bit of the truth? Have you ever pondered that? What if there's truth in everything? What if? So I don't know. So those have been my ponderings this week. So I'm not really sure. And again, my ponderings are not about judgment. I live in these spaces that I ponder about. That's why I ponder about them, because I'm trying to figure out, are those the bags that I need to let go as I declutter my heart, soul, and mind. I'm in a declutter time of my life. I'm getting, as you already know, you've been on the journey with me. I'm trying to get healthy, body, plant-based, knowing I figured that out. Plant-based is who I have to be. The minute I eat meat, the minute I eat my body just gets whacked out and I gain 5 pounds like it's nothing. So we are plant-based now. That's what we're gonna do. The other is exercise, knowing that exercise is important, that I have to do it every single day. Figure it out, Micheal, make it happen. It doesn't, you don't have to join a gym to make it happen. Making sure I make time for spiritual self. So whatever it is, like the other morning, I woke up at 3. So I just got in the car and took a drive and ended up in Bodega and sat on the beach for a while and then turned around and went back home. Just do those things. Those are important. Making sure that you have connections with people that are positive, that are grateful, that know how to love, because you need their muse in order to go out into the world where people are not all that. So you got to have that safe place to land with your circle of people who are like you, so that when you go out into the world and you get vomited on with negativity, hate, and disdain, that you have the fortitude and everything you need to live through those moments. You got to do all the things on the card. So those are my ponderings, my friends. I really, I'm coming out of my grief. For those of you, again, so many cards. Thank you. They're all over the house, so they're in spots where I can see them to lift me up. As you can see, it's interesting, I'm crying even now. The tears are coming out of my eyes. It just happens, but that's life. And I'll make it through, because I'm loved. That's another plant there from the current family. So, I'm loved, Sister Teresa. Thank you for remembering my brother. Oh, it's okay. I'm going to get through this grief, but I'm going to live this grief for the very first time in my life. As I told somebody, there's people who are sick of me talking about my brother. I told David Teal that from Nashville, a friend of mine in Nashville. They're sick of it. You can see it in their face. They hope that I don't say a word about it because they don't like grief. So I get it. I get it all. And again, no judgment. All in love, just observations, just ponderings. So, my friends, it's Friday and it's the weekend. And we're going to dream, believe, love, and live. Thank you, Sandy. And we're going to do that in a way that it not only changes us, but it changes and heals the communities and the people and the relationships that we have. But first of all, let's heal ourselves. Again, thank you, Crayola Crayon, for the wonderful crayons in the coloring book. Thank you for, getting there. Thank you to Stuart Furman, Jane Furman, Sandy Blazer, Teresa, everybody. Let me see. I'm going to say thank you to you this morning because I don't always get a chance to shout out to you. And we have a few minutes because we have a few minutes and that's just the way it is, right? And we can do this. So let me see who's with us this morning. You know that I love you all. Wanda, thank you. Felicia's mommy. Hi, Felicia's mommy. Teresa, Betty, Wanda, Garav. Oh, hello, my darling. Sandy, let's see. Cuz, thank you, Cuz. Switzerland 2021, you bet. All of you. I love you. And I love you not because of anything that you do for me, other than you love me. And because you love me, I feel valued. I feel a part of this world. I feel that I matter. So thank you so much for coming to Life is a Sacred Journey. Have a glorious day. Love yourself. And then you go out into the world and love the world abundantly because what they say, all the world needs is love. So have a great weekend. Hug a tree, hug a child, hug a cat or a dog, hug yourself and be happy because this is it. And take that happiness out with you. Peace out. Have a great weekend.